I'm asking you about people. Biden says he cares about these people and helping student debt. I have no reason to disbelieve him. And then Schumer and Warren are pushing further. But it's about what should be done for people who, especially through no fault of their own in this pandemic, have crippling debt.
Nobody should be evicted. Nobody should be foreclosed on during this time. They should receive help from the federal government. We learned one thing we learned at the beginning of the pandemic is that we have the money to do whatever we want to do, and we should be doing it to help people. And I mean, for me, I would forgive these student loans and get out of the student loan business. He's already said that he supports public colleges the tuition being free. So let's push toward that. Let's have a healthcare system. Everybody should be covered. We're in a pandemic. Announce universal healthcare. We'll sort out how we're going to continue it when we get through this pandemic. But for now, nobody should worry about going to the doctor or being in huge trouble. I saw this one hospital chain that is suing people who have been in the hospital for COVID. No, wrong message. And that's not who we are. So, yes, we should be doing all these things right now, fighting for these things. And I honestly believe this about Biden. My parents were like him. They went to Mass every morning. And, it's something I never did. But, people like that, I know him. I don't know him personally, but I know that if he wants to start his day in a place of moral fortitude, where he will live that day doing what he believes is the right and just thing. This is a good thing for the rest of us. And it's why I believe that, okay, so let's say he doesn't support Medicare for all or whatever, which they shouldn't call it that anymore anyways. It should be called Canadian healthcare, or what would Jesus do healthcare, or something like that. But, any bill that comes across his desk that's going to help people, that's going to improve their wages, get them their jobs back, any of this stuff, he's going to sign it. So Schumer and Nancy need to do their job to get these things through, and we have to eliminate the filibuster. The filibuster does not exist in any country that calls itself a democracy. That has to stop. There's a vote, and the winner is 50% plus one. That's a democracy. They have to get rid of that, and they cannot let the Republicans stop any of this. Everything that Frank Rich said, I agree. And these are seditionists. They have a sedition caucus. They have to be brought up, and they have to answer for what they did. But they've got to start right now by taking the head off the snake, and that was Donald J. Trump. He has to answer for his actions, or we will see more insurrections in the years to come, because they'll say, well, look at what happened. Nothing happened. Yeah. Something has to happen to all the Republicans who participated in this. And I think that if the Democrats will be strong, and if their idea of reaching across the aisle, we're the victims of Trump. Our whole society.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.